Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, listeners and learners, those who are listening, watching from the field of arts, commerce, science and engineering. Dear friends, today in this year of 2023, in this month of March, our scholars and learners, those who are studying in the different universities of India and abroad, all the researchers, those who are busy in doing research in the field of spirituality. Today let us discuss. I, Dr. Rakesh from USA. We will discuss today science to spirituality. What's the truth behind it? How our nation is known as the nation of starters, beginners and initiators. How we are known as the creator, operator, generator. Our average person, average citizen who belongs to India has become the expert user of digitalized economy, especially our villagers. 40% our villagers have become the expert user of online transactions, which is the greatest achievement of our nation. No doubt, after Second World War, our nation was counted as the developing nation, but in the form of spiritual values, nationalistic values, patriotistic values, our nation is the starter, beginner and initiator, not only in the fields of religion or spiritualistic values, but also in modern science, in competing Western culture, helping in creating revolution in information technology today. Dear friends, all the religions that came first on this land, India became the starter. All inventions and innovations, all inventions and innovations were provided by India to the worldly people. As today we have become the expert user of social media, online programs, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google, these have become the lifestyle of our people. And these are in the form of mind in our hands. These have become the fast friends of life. Without these, we feel isolated and alone. Why we have forgotten nature? Actually, those who are the true inventors, innovators in the field of science and technology, they always remember their past and the values of nature. Nature is our true friend. Let us be friendly and familiar with the natural elements and objects. What is nature? Our body, which is made by 5 elements: air, fire, soil, sky, and water. These are the basics of our human body. And our human body is basically prepared by these 5 elements. These 5 elements help us in generating the ecological system of our nation. There should be the coordination, match. There should be the coordination, similarities, resemblances between economy and ecology. Both these branches run together. So we are to keep our surroundings neat and clean, pollution free, intoxication free, which is the great message from India to the worldly people. For maintaining the spiritual values, for maintaining peace and prosperity, time to time, India advocated to the worldly people in the form of different starters of the religions. In our Hindu mythology, we read the Vedas, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata. Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, who came in India on the surface of this Indian land, and they addressed the message of action according to the holy preachings of holy sermons of our holy scripture. Action is religion, work is worship. God or Lord, who is omniscient, omnipotent and omnipresent, almighty, a power and energy, who He was, who He is and who He will, in past, present and future. He remains forever with us. He never leaves us alone. So there is not the question of isolation in spirituality, in spiritual science of our nation. As we have read that Nature is a common concept among the different religions. Nature of water, nature of air, nature of fire, nature of soil, and nature of sky is studied basically commonly in all the holy religions of this holy land. Holy Fathers, those who came first on this land, even after them, many social reformations were started. Today, in this present time, our President President Modi ji also stressed upon reformation, reform, perform, and transform. First step, reform. Only then can be performed well. How we can bring reformation? As we have read that who was the starter of Ramakrishna Mission, Swami Vivekananda. He addressed and appealed to the worldly people, return to the Vedas. Through the Vedas, he kept this message in front of the worldly people that God does exist in air, fire, soil, sky, and water, and even where there is not the presence of light and sound, means soundless and lightless place or situation, condition, position, also has the existence of Lord. Then he addressed to the worldly people, return to the Vedas. He provoked to know the truth. What's the truth? He spent in searching such important aspects of life. As Mahatma Gandhi, who spent his life on the truth and non-violence, Swami Vivekananda, who started Ramakrishna Mission, stressed upon the purity of personality, purity of character. At one place he writes that if your money is lost, nothing is lost. If your health is lost, something is lost. If your character is lost, everything is lost. So character is the most important thing of our life. It is possible only by repetition of the holy words of the Holy God or Lord. If we have the words with us and we repeat the words, then we can change the direction of our thoughts or ideas, bad to good, but it is possible only through the blessings and grace of Lord. Who He was, who He is, and who He will, in past, present, and future, He remains the same. He is permanent forever. Wordless is also the form of God. but for creating the image in our mind. Like that, our old scholars, students, those who are studying in different institutes, educational institutes, they learn by their different technologies. They adopt imitation, copying, and downloadings, recordings, savings in the form of history. They take the examples that helps them, that help them in learning a lot. But one thing that is the most important educational technology that we study, that is the imagination. Imagination creates creativity. Many poets, novelists, dramatists have explained the value of imagination. As our scholars have read Plato and Aristotle, according to Plato, he who was the believer of spiritual love, platonic love, according to Plato, the word has come in form from light and sound. Means idea is the generator of the new designs, new shape, size and figures. But according to Aristotle, he says he believes in imitation theory. According to him, everything is made by copying or imitating. But this concept is applicable only for the founders, starters and beginners, not for the advanced learners. Advanced learners are needed Platonic theory, imagination. Imagination can bring reformative changes by which any performer can perform well with purity, accuracy. Ultimately, that can be transformed according to different experienced persons, experimentalists of the America. They have emphasized upon transcendentalism. When we talk about the writings, poems of Walt Whitman, who is the American mystic poet, the most spiritualistic poet, who uses and used his term of democracy in spiritual science, in mysticism. That's why he is known as the inventor and innovator. He recalled Abraham Lincoln at many places. When we go through his writings, we did know that I word itself has the representation of the whole America. As Abraham Lincoln demised and he wrote in recalling and remembering such personalities throughout his anthology of poems. At one places he counts the values of humility. Humility makes us victor, arrogant loses all whosoever. Humility and humanity are the great aspects of life according to him, and through his Leaves of Grass, an anthology of poems, he writes in it songs of myself. He sings the songs in praise of the America, in praise of the nature. So wonderful example of nationalism, patriotism, spiritualism we find in the writings of Walt Whitman. Song of the Open Road, Song of Myself are his important poems. There are many poets who wrote about their nation by being nationalistic, patriotistic and spiritualistic personal. They say that where they will be cremated, there will be their holy motherland. This is the lifestyle of such persons, those who sacrificed their life for others. If we see in India, Indian land is known as the land of free thinkers, freedom fighters, philosophers, astrologers, astronomers, freedom fighters, martyrdoms. And we have uncounted, numberless such personalities, those who are unread, unspoken, unheard, still now in the history of our Indian freedom fighters. History is the evidence of such persons, those who spent their time selflessly for others. When we recollect and remember such important values of our society or nation, then we can think about the betterment, upliftment of our society and nation. How we can make nicer, finer, better our society by enhancing the talents, manners, styles of in our youngsters. Our present Prime Minister's efforts are really praiseworthy, admirable and appreciable. Who started Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, Mukhyamantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. By starting such programs, our youth is being enhanced their talents. But it is not enough. Continuity and regularity is required. As Swami Vivekananda stressed upon, unrelenting, unceasing and unstopping efforts are greatly required. Because our body in the form of land is multidimensional, multi-sided and multifaceted. It can be multi-talented. with having super spiritualistic values of our nation. Many thinkers, freedom fighters, free thinkers came on this land for made us able to realize the importance of this human body, this human soul, why we have come on this earth, why we have come in this universe. We are to do our duties. According to John Keats, who says in literature, duty is beauty, beauty is duty. According to him, art is long, life is short. Beauty lies in the eyes of beholder. Likely that Swami Vivekananda addressed the worldly people. William Wordsworth, who is known as the priest of nature, worshipper of nature, he says that nature is our true friend. He suggests to his sister Dorothy Richardson, these worldly people may beat, cheat, defeat or even betray you. But it is only the nature which is always friendly and familiar with us. So he says that never go away from this nature, but feel the presence of Lord or God in nature. As Swami Vivekananda addressed, return to the Vedas, likely that Wordsworth told to the worldly people, return to the nature, return to your past. A child is the father of man. William Wordsworth, throughout his all poems, appreciated nature. In his poem Lucy Gray, the word is too much with us. Ode on intimation, immortality, different odes, poems, lyrics, ballads he wrote in the history of English literature. As we see through the glimpses of history, in 1789 it was the time of French Revolution, and it was due to peacelessness. So William Wordsworth and S.T. Coleridge, both they started writing lyrical ballads in 1798 with their collaborative venture. They regenerated a different generation which was known as Romanticism in English literature. Dear friends, how was the time of these starters, beginners and initiators? We read in the history. Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, who was the starter of Sikhism, who came on this land in 1469. This 14th, 13th, 14th, 15th and 16th century period is known as the Renaissance period, Elizabethan age in English literature. During this time, India was discovered by Vasco da Gama in 1798. East India Company came in India in 1600, and there was the birth of William Shakespeare, who is known as the king of literature, in 1564. These are the important dates that we read in our history, and it is really important according to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who wrote in his Discovery of India, our present lies in the past. Mahatma Gandhi, who wrote Testament with the Truth. Throughout many such different knowledgeable, informative, instructive and directive literature, we read that every decade, every century brings revolutionary and visionary change automatically. Change is the rule of nature. Such changes came, drastic changes came, and now after 18th century, in 19th and 20th century, we study it as the period of revolution in industrialization. What happened in India at that time? We see there was the rise or establishment of the Congress in 1885. There was the first step of freedom taken up by Indians in 1857. In 20th century period, we study as modern literature and present age. This first World War, which was run 14 to 18, before this year in 1913, Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, who got first Nobel Prize in Literature. In 1915, after completing his barrister from South Africa, Mahatma Gandhi came in India, and Rashtrapita Mahatma Gandhi spent his life on the basis of the truth and non-violence from 1914 to 47, which is known as Gandhiism. During this time, writers, novelists, dramatists, all were influenced from such world-level international incidents. There was the innovative and inventive technique of writing through stream of consciousness. According to it, when the place is equal, time is different. Time is equal, place is different. So it happened in 20th century period due to revolution in industrialization. People forgot their past, and due to that there was the exploitation, injustice, poverty, slavery in society. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, everyone was becoming the victim of such harmful, deplorable social conditions. So there was no peace and prosperity of their mind and heart. Then the world automatically turned away from spiritual values of our nation, and the soul was covered with anxieties, sorrows, pains, horror, fear, terror everywhere was. After independence, we see that the literature turned towards writing in praise of Marxist values. Russian socialism was over the people from 1945 to 1990. After the classification of the USSR, division of the Germany, and Canada was set on the fire, Kuwait was set on the fire. These were the important events that happened in 1990. Consequently, the USA became powerful than other nations by its democratic ideas, democratic thoughts. The America which got freedom 200 years before than India. Today, due to American language, styles, manners, talents, the America has established the most powerful country or nation. Dear friends, we should always remember that India has the greatest, largest manpower with having 140 crore people. No doubt, America is the starter of the democracy. Abraham Lincoln, who wrote, by the people, of the people, for the people. But the greatest practitioner of this democracy is our nation. Largest and highest valued nation of democracy, that is India. So India proud on its qualities with having 65% working population. Out of them, maximum people are less than 35 years in their age. So this is the strength of our India. We must know and we must keep the talents, manners, styles in the form of innovations and inventions in front of the worldly people publicly. As our present Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji stressed upon, brain drain is also has great merits, advantageous. Brain drain is not the negative always. Today India can deposit the brain, and by depositing this brain in social media in digitalized world, we can get it back, its benefits with multiplied benefits. So it can be possible only by adopting the method of disattachment, defoxing. It can be possible. Let us discuss in this present time on our spiritual values, ancient values. No doubt we have become the fast user of this modern technology, digitalogy, electronology, whether we have become the user of 5G, but indirectly India is the inventor and starter of such technologies in the world. Everywhere we see around us transparency, and our PM is also imagining that India should be independent India. How it can be independent? How it can be free from such foundations? It is possible only by method of meditation, true method of meditation, by repeating the holy words of God or Lord. We can keep free our soul from the clutches of avariciousness, falsification, ego, erotic, and negativities. It is possible only by soul power or spiritual power. So about what Swami Vivekananda wrote, success means not any platform, but success is the name of regularity or continuity. According to him, one idea, one nation, one man can bring revolutionary and visionary change. And we see this example in the history. There were some persons, those who brought revolutionary change by their ideologies. They were filled with negative motivation and brought Second World War. Likely that India, every people, every citizen has the power to recreate the positive motivation. So never anyone can be alone. Positively, everyone has power to bring the change in their words, thoughts, habits, ideas, actions. By the moral, spiritual development of the nation, definitely we will grow one day. So dear friends, we are to adopt the path of sincerity and honesty. We should spend our time between 2 to 5 only in the morning time in praising the Lord. This is the nicest time in all our holy religions. Our lifestyle must be improved, reformed for performing well and transforming the nation. Only then we can fulfill the dream of our nation for creating the leaders, explorer, exposer and exporter. It can be possible only by spiritual values. And spiritualistic personalities always spend their maximum time with nature. Let us come close to nature. Let us be friendly with nature. For knowing the importance of this human birth on this earth, today you are listening, watching India to abroad in the different universities, Cambridge, Oxford, California, Harvard, Atlanta, all of you listeners and watchers must keep continue your research on its spiritual values of nation of our India. Thank you, dear friends. Thank you, dear brothers and sisters. Dhanyavad.